Here's what's coming up on your horizon. Well, Oklahoma's economy was one of the first to emerge from the recession of 2009. Job growth led the nation, and we were considered a bright spot in a rather dismal picture. But in 2013, when other state economies began to pick up, ours began to stall. Today, we begin with what is behind this slowdown and how we can fix it.
For those jobs that require or are sufficient with a high school degree or less, there's no reason for those wages to go up because there's plenty of supply for those jobs, so they actually stay depressed.
We begin a new segment here on Horizon we call the Oklahoma Standard.
It was the best move of my life to come to Oklahoma.
And we end our day with a reminder there are second chances in life and in work.
You know, I've never been so busy, but I've never been so happy in my whole life.
Stay with us for Oklahoma Horizon.
Oklahoma Horizon is made possible by the Oklahoma Department of Career and Technology Education.
Oklahoma's investment in career tech provides more than nationally recognized technology education and training. It produces solid financial returns for the state's economic future. Oklahoma Career Tech, elevating our economy.
And the Oklahoma Department of Agriculture, Food, and Forestry, helping good people grow good things. And now, from the Career Tech Studios in Stillwater, here's your host, Rob McClendon.
Hello everyone, thanks for joining us here on Horizon. Well, at the end of 2012, Oklahoma was number 2 in the nation in terms of wage growth. Seemingly good news for anyone receiving a larger paycheck. Yet just 1 year later, we began seeing a slowdown in job creation. 2 numbers heading in opposite directions that economists believe are an indication of a troubling trend. For several years now, Oklahoma's economy has been exceptionally strong for anyone with an in-demand skill or ability. Yet for those with a high school diploma or less with no certifiable skill sets, their employment picture isn't so rosy. In fact, unemployment for those with a high school diploma or less is twice that of those with a college degree or an industry certification. It's called a skills gap, and it's a problem that state leaders are well aware of. Here's our Andy Barth.
While careers were lost in the Great Recession, Oklahoma bounced back quickly when returning jobs to the workforce.
We've been very fortunate in the state of Oklahoma to have a very low unemployment rate and one of the lowest in the nation.
An unemployment rate that, while better than the national average, is still leaving workers without jobs. And Governor Mary Fallin says while Oklahoma's business sector is strong, worker credentials are not.
And today that number has... We know that Oklahoma has a very strong aerospace, defense industry. We have a very strong energy sector, biosciences, agriculture, transportation, distribution, financial services. Those are all our core key industries in our state that generate wealth. But we have to make sure that we have the skills in the workforce to fill those kinds of jobs. And if we don't have those educational attainment levels, then those jobs will either not come to Oklahoma or they'll leave Oklahoma, or even though the people will leave Oklahoma if they can't find the job they're looking for.
The beating heart of a modern nation.
50 years ago, nearly 80% of all jobs required only a high school diploma, and most paid a good wage. Today, a high school diploma only qualifies workers for about 35% of the available jobs, with the majority of them paying less than $25,000. Deidre Myers is with the Oklahoma Department of Commerce.
Is doing in terms of Oklahoma's economy. For those jobs that require or are sufficient with a high school degree or less, there's no reason for those wages to go up because there's plenty of supply for those jobs, so they actually stay depressed.
And Myers says in order to close the skills gap, all job seekers and current employees must increase their proficiencies.
What we need to do is make sure that everybody continues along a career pathway or a pipeline. And so we need for people who have a skill now to increase their skills so that they create jobs that are in the backside of that pipeline that are for lower skills. That means that those people who are not working currently have an entry-level position that they can get into and then start to build their skills. As we do that, everybody shifts up the career pathway or the pipeline, and that means every household is earning a little bit more money. Therefore, we increase Oklahoma's prosperity.
A prosperity that Fallin says must be encouraged at a young age.
We're going to reach down further into our school systems, into basically middle school and certainly into high school, and start talking to our students about the types of courses that they need to take to find things that they're interested in the future.
Currently in Oklahoma, nearly half of the available jobs require vocational training or an associate's degree, while nearly 23% require a high school diploma or less. However, when we look at the degrees Oklahomans actually have, the percentages are reversed. So a high school diploma, which is not enough for most jobs, is still the only degree most Oklahomans have.
Our federal debt, our deficit.
And as chair of the National Governors Association, Fallon says it's not just an Oklahoma problem. On a global scale, the United States continues to slip further and further behind.
Well, if we look at the United States and where we fall within the 34 industrialized nations in the world, America is falling behind. We're 14th in reading, we're 25th in math, 17th in science. We've got to do a better job in the United States and getting our skill sets up so we can be competitive as a nation.
And at the annual Express Employment Professionals Conference, industry leaders came together to discuss how to train people for higher paying jobs. Jonathan Tom is Express Employment's Vice President of Professional Staffing.
You don't mint a CNC operator overnight. You don't mint an engineer overnight. It really is a process that takes, upwards of a decade. So if we don't start having that dialogue until today, it's going to be another 10 years before we significantly shift that balance.
Big element of that is changing the diet.
A balance that the CEO of Carlisle Food Service says weighs heavily on skills training.
I think kids have to recognize and understand it's okay not to be the head of a company or not to be the head of sales, not to be an engineer, not to be in IT. It's okay to operate a machine. It's okay to be a tradesman. It can be very lucrative. It can be very lucrative.
And because wages for skilled workers continue to increase and decrease for non-skilled workers, the market becomes two-pronged, creating a large gap that can only be bridged with the skills-based education. Once again, Mark Metters of Carlisle Foods.
Obviously, the solutions that are in place today aren't working for us. We've got lots of people that are looking for work. We have lots of jobs, all industries, and they're not fitting well together. So the solutions that we've lived with in the past aren't working. I think one of the solutions is for employers to take a more active role engaging educators and finding ways to create training programs to meet the needs that employers have.
Well, Andy, this sounds like a dilemma that could cut across a lot of different industries.
It really is, Rob, and we have to remember that the most important thing for an employer is to have a highly skilled worker. And I visited with the CEO of 3 major companies here in Oklahoma that are biotechnology based, and he was at a conference in Boston. And while he was there, he says he was looking for new clients, but also for new employees. And he also says that while he would love to be able to hire here in Oklahoma, we just don't seem to have enough of the highly skilled workers he needs.
Which really could have some long-term economic consequences. Just put yourself in the shoes of someone wanting to start this high-tech company. Where are you going to go? Someplace where you can get a willing and ready workforce, or one where you struggle with people having the right skills?
That's right, and it all really comes down to the law of supply and demand. Here in Oklahoma, our highly skilled workforce just doesn't seem to be meeting up with the demand that we have in industry. Therefore, those workers end up getting a dramatically increased wage. While it's good for them, it's a disincentive for those companies looking to locate here because, plain and simple, they're going to have to pay their employees more.
Yeah, that really is an important point, the haves and have-nots. Let's talk a little bit about, if we can, switching over from the employer to the employee. What's your best advice there?
Well, the big thing is not all degrees are created equal. And just because you have any old diploma doesn't necessarily guarantee you a great job. Having said that, once you have those skills in hand, you have to remember to keep the faith while looking for work. And let's take a look at this.
In today's competitive business climate, even getting an interview can be hard. Eric Gilpin is the president of Career Builders Staffing and Recruiting Group, and says both hard and soft skills make you more of an appealing job applicant.
If you have a good attitude and you have a good work ethic, it's kind of the American dream. You'll figure it out. But I think that why wouldn't you kind of elevate your opportunities and have some skills that employers are going to have in demand for the foreseeable future?
But even with the best skill sets, looking for work is hard and often frustrating. Jonathan Tom with Express Personnel says persistence is often the key.
Have to remain optimistic. As you think about the job search, it can be demoralizing to go out and send resumes, not receive a response, or you finally have an opportunity to interview and that interview doesn't move forward. So you simply have to continue to be optimistic and put the best foot forward.
And sometimes that best foot forward is one that will help you step up the ladder of success.
Absolutely consider temporary or contract work. It's a way to be exposed to employers that are hiring. It's an opportunity to audition for the job.
And in a world where workers with the right skills are in high demand, Gilpin says employers must create a work environment that can retain skilled workers once they're hired.
The workers of today do look very different. They're incentivized by different things, and I think employers need to create environments that embrace technology and understand that mobility, flexibility, recognition, as well as working on things that provide more self-esteem and confidence outside of just recognition in the office are important for our future workers. And the millennial crowd that is the future of work needs to be treated a little differently to achieve results.
Understanding generational differences that will bridge the skills gap, making a stronger, more efficient workforce.
So Emily, certainly good advice, but what about the person that says, whether they be underemployed or unemployed, that says, I've got bills to pay, a family to feed, and I just don't have the time nor the money to go back to school?
Yeah, and it's never easy, but the good news is for the majority of the jobs that we're talking about, they don't require a 4-year degree, let alone a master's or a doctorate. And oftentimes it's those skills-based certificates that people can get that make them a more appealing job applicant. Plus, those certificates only take about a few months to a few years to get.
And oftentimes, a lot of these employers, because they're struggling trying to find the right employees, they're willing to even help these new workers go back and get the skills they need.
Absolutely. Warren Cat is a machinery company that covers Oklahoma and Texas, and they have about 100 jobs available, but not enough workers to fill those jobs. And they're willing to pay for school. Their starting salary is about $60,000, but if you come to them with the skills-based education and the experience behind you, you could be making anywhere up to $100,000.
Wow. Well, all right. Thank you so much, Andy. Now, this will be an issue we will follow closely in the coming weeks. In fact, Oklahoma's Business Roundtable will be examining how to solve the skills gap later this month. Now, when we return, a new segment here on Oklahoma Horizon, we call our Oklahoma Standard.
You're watching Oklahoma Horizon, featuring some of the good things that are happening in the great state of Oklahoma.
Today we begin what will be a regular segment here on Horizon that recognizes Oklahomans who are setting a standard of success we can all be proud of. Bob Funk is the founder and chairman of the largest privately held staffing company in the United States. Express Employment Professionals is a heavyweight in the human resource industry with annual sales over $2.5 billion and more than 650 franchises nationwide. But it's the number of people who find work thanks to Express that gives Funk his most satisfaction. Yet he says at any given time, Express has as many as 20,000 jobs going unfilled because the company can't find the right workers with the necessary skills. I was able to sit down with Mr. Funk at his company's annual meeting in Oklahoma City. Mr. Funk, first of all, thank you so much for being here.
Well, thank you for inviting us.
Now, you have seen your share of recessions. What makes this recovery different than the last?
Well, this recession was much different. Of course, it was much deeper than any of the other recessions I've ever been in, of the other 8 or 9 or so that I've been in. But when the companies laid off their people during this recession, they kept their best skilled people. They learned from the recessions of the past that if you lay a 10% off from top to bottom, that those skilled people won't be there when you come back out of the recession. And consequently, they kept most of their good skilled people. And as the recession turned and the economy became much better, they're having a more difficult time finding the skilled individuals.
So with this evolving economy that we're in, are you worried that we are facing a serious skills gap?
We are facing a serious skills gap. Now we've had a serious skills gap in the healthcare area for many years. Nurses, doctors, so on and so forth. Now we're facing it in the IT arena. We're facing it in the accounting arena. We're facing it in the what I call semi-skilled area, which is the CNC operators, welders, manufacturing area. As a matter of fact, we're even having a difficult time finding people with a good work ethic for the normal manufacturing jobs that are out there. And that's a little bit more ominous, I think, if that evolves, because we need those manufacturing employees in order to bring that industry back from China and other places around the world.
What do you hope we can do? Does industry need to work closer with education closer with industry?
Well, my opinion is education needs to be much more flexible than they have been. The 10-year law has hurt us in the K through 12 area because the good teachers leave because they're not getting paid any more than those who maybe not be doing as good a job. And that's the biggest socialistic system in the United States at the current time. Everybody gets paid the same no matter what kind of a job they do. That's not the American way. The American way is that we're incentivized for doing a better job. The better job you do, the more opportunity, the more pay you ought to get. And same thing with higher ed. Higher ed has a challenge there as well, where they may need teachers over in other disciplines, but they can't put them over in the other disciplines because they're tenured in that department or in that system. So we need to change the system to a degree and give incentive-based programs for teachers and teacher systems.
So is it fair to say then that maybe education is suffering from the lack of free enterprise?
Yes, they have. There's no question about it. And the faster we get there, the better off we'll be. As you probably saw in the Wall Street Journal, of the 24 industrialized nations, the United States is fourth from the bottom in education. That's a shame because we have great people. We have, I think, great teachers. We have great educational systems. The system just needs to be changed to a degree in order to incentivize and to reward the teachers who do a better job than others.
Is it fair to say that we may have been too focused in education on degrees and not enough focus has been put on skill sets?
I think there's no question about that. And we need to change our attitude that the semi-skilled and skilled areas are really important for our economy. They're important for the financial wherewithal of people. When the skilled jobs are out there at $60 to $80 to $100,000, that's not a bad job in my economy anyway, because many college graduates come out and they cannot find jobs at that level. And it's because they're guided in the wrong direction.
Yeah, now I've heard you say multiple times, the best social program our country can have is a job. And really you've dedicated your life to that and what you do.
That's right. We're interested, of course, in placing people on a temporary basis so that the company gets an opportunity to look at the individual and the individual gets an opportunity to look at the company, and then they make a decision to get married. So when they have a good job, they pay taxes. They pay taxes to the state, they pay taxes to the federal government, and it bolsters the economy all the way around if there are more jobs available for them and that they have the opportunity to take.
What are some of those areas that you look for when you're talking about an employee that would either work for you, Express, or when you're finding employees for other people?
Well, as I mentioned in the Wall Street Journal, there's three areas that I think are important. The first one's integrity. If you don't have integrity as an employee, then it's difficult, of course, for a company to keep you. Second of all, you have to have a good work ethic. You have to come to work every day. You have to show up. You have to be dedicated. And third, of course, is you have to be able to pass the drug test. And we're having some real challenges across this country with the potential employees not being able to pass the drug tests. There's one city that we're in the state of Washington, 70% of them cannot pass a drug test. Well, their concentration, their focus level is just not as productive as someone who's not been on drugs all weekend. So It's important that they have good values in their lives and a good work ethic. And values usually transfer over into a good work ethic that they're willing to put in the hard work for a hard day's pay.
Now, you're initially from Washington State, as I
Yes.
remember, but you have made Oklahoma your home. Tell me about why you live right here in the middle of America.
It was the best move of my life to come to Oklahoma. Number one, the people are just tremendous. Their value systems are good. If they're your friend, they're usually their friend for life, not just a partial friend, not just a temporary friend, but they want to be friends with you for a long period of time. They're very sincere. They usually have good values, and consequently they turn out to be just a fabulous place to work, a fabulous place to hire people, a fabulous place for people who gives us loyalty. We have some of the most loyal employees at the company that have been with me now for 35 years, and many of them, of course, hopefully will be there the rest of their lives. And that kind of loyalty you just don't find in many other parts of the country.
Mr. Funk, as always, it's a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Want to share something you've seen here today? Well, all of our episodes are streaming on our YouTube channel at Oklahoma Horizon TV, or you can subscribe to our weekly free podcasts on iTunes. In today's economy, a growing number of jobs require both academic and skills training. It's a hands-on type of education that helps people enter the workforce faster and rise further. Now, thanks to Oklahoma's dual enrollment program, students can earn college-level credits while also gaining a skill while enrolled in one of Oklahoma's technology centers. And while that is certainly convenient for students and a real money saver for parents, for one returning Oklahoma student, it has made life all the better. Here's Arkela Kellen.
Sharon Lane is the first one to tell you her life has not always been easy. Some of the difficulties of her own making, but her story's final chapter is yet to be written.
Sharon Lane is a student at Metro Tech in Oklahoma City, but getting to where she is today wasn't an easy path.
I started doing drugs when I was 8 years old, and then when I got older I got into meth and a couple of other drugs, and it basically ruined my life.
Upon realizing she had a problem, Sharon sought help at the City Rescue Mission, where she now lives and works, while also taking classes at her local technology center.
I'm hoping that when I graduate here, I can get hired on at the City Rescue Mission as a full-time employee working with the shelter women, because that's where I feel like I'm called.
With a calling to give back, she also hopes to continue her education and attain a college degree.
Metro Tech is also tied in with OSU OKC, and so I'm hoping to take those hours and transfer them over to OSU OKC and continue on to get at least an associate's, maybe a bachelor's by the time I'm finished. But I think with this certificate I can get a pretty nice job, and I'm really looking forward to it. I think I'm going to make a great secretary.
And she'll be able to do just that because of the computer classes she has taken at Metro Tech.
I work at the shelter until 10 or so at night, and then I'm back up at 5:30 in the morning to come to school, you know. And it's just, you know, I've never been so busy, but I've never been so happy in my whole life.
Lane says she hopes to complete her classes next year and start the next chapter of her life by working to give back.
You can keep up with us throughout the week. Just head to okhorizon.com, where you can see more of any of our stories, read our reporters behind the scenes blogs, see what others are saying about us on Twitter, and face the facts with our regular updates. So reach out and touch us anywhere and anytime. Next time on Oklahoma Horizon, we'll look at the economic impact of Oklahoma's equine industry.
The impact to the state is huge. I deal specifically with Oklahoma City, and of course here in Oklahoma City, between the show horse and the racing horse components, it is probably in excess of $400 million a year.
Plus, we'll meet an Oklahoma student who's not let distance or difficulty stand in his way. An Oklahoma show for the Heartland, Oklahoma Horizon. Well, Oklahoma has a lot to offer. A lower cost of living, low unemployment, yet the second highest wage growth in the country. But the warnings of a growing skills gap are one we need to take seriously, and here's why. According to OSU economist Dan Rickman, while Oklahoma does have a lot to offer, we are no Colorado. Each year, people will move to that state just to be near the Rocky Mountains. It's often a lifestyle choice more than an economic one, but that influx of talent benefits Colorado's economy nonetheless. So while states like Colorado can count on new people with new skills to fill job demand, here in Oklahoma, we have to grow our own, and that's where the problem is. In recent years, Oklahoma, Colorado, and a slew of other states have reduced education funding. And while states like Colorado can basically import the talent they need, we are more dependent on training people already here. And the cold hard reality is this. In today's economy, if an employer can't find the right employees in one state, it's not that hard to pick up and move to another. So when it comes to a skills gap, we've identified the problem, and it just happens to be us. Question now is, what are we going to do about it? I'm Rob McClendon. Thanks for watching. See you back here next week.
Thank you for watching Oklahoma Horizon.